Okay, so to be a loan signing agent in the state of North Carolina, the first thing that you have to do is register for the class. I don't know if other states require this, but I do know that for the state of North Carolina to be a public notary, which is a public official, you do have to take the class. Now, the class is offered on Saturdays at the local colleges and universities. I don't believe it's every Saturday, so you actually have to find where there is availability. However, registering for the class is $70, so you have to go ahead and take care of that part first. Then in order to even participate in the class, you have to also have the manual, which is like an additional $24, I believe it was. And the process, it's a little bit long. It's a little bit of a prolonged process because I think I initially registered for the class at the beginning of November, and I just took the class on yesterday, December 12th. So I don't think it's offered every Saturday, just depending on what area you're in, what county of North Carolina that you're in. But in any event, you got to take the class, $70. You need the manual, which is another $24. And it's done on Saturdays. And the class is traditionally a 6-hour curriculum. However, since the beginning of COVID, North Carolina did implement their emergency video notarization law. I believe it's a law. It might just be the process, but I think it's actually law that's been extended now. But because that is another way that you can do notary work here in North Carolina, that you have to be taught that too. So that's an additional hour. So that now makes that Saturday class a 7-hour curriculum. And the emergency video notarization is not the same as the remote notary. And I'll tell you more about the remote notary in just a sec. So once you're in the class, you take the class, you're in there all day on a Saturday, and then at the end of the class, you do have to actually pass the test. At the end, the test is 50 questions long. It was not particularly hard because there's over 200 slides that you have to be taught in the class, and the instructor, she was fantastic. She's very knowledgeable, and so whatever it is that you need to pass the test, it will be presented to you and you'll be fine. Now, while you're in class, there is the application that she has to fill out, so just to indicate that you did actually pass the class, and that you can go ahead and turn your application in to the Secretary of State. There is a $50 application fee associated with that, so that's an additional $50 that you have to pay for your application to the Secretary of State. In about 2 weeks, you will receive your approval for your commission in your email. After you get that email, now you can go ahead and get in contact with the Register of Deeds, because you will have to be sworn in as a public official, as public notary. So it is a little bit longer process here in North Carolina, but you cannot begin any notary work until you first have that approval to do your commission. So once you do your commission, it is for 5 years. Now, as far as the remote online notary for North Carolina, you have to have your commission for at least 1 year before you can start doing remote online work. And that is something that is so very different than I saw with some of the other states and some of the other information that I saw on YouTube online. You do have to have your commission for 1 year. The other part that I found very interesting is that I asked the Secretary of State, I didn't ask the Secretary of State, I asked the instructor, but the Secretary of State for North Carolina does not endorse loan signing agents or mobile notary signing agents. And of course they exist here in the state. She does not particularly endorse them because there cannot be any additional fees associated with your notary work. Now, as far as mobile notary, of course, $5 per signature, that's just across the board. That's what the law is. Those additional fees that she was saying is that you cannot charge for travel, and you can't charge for like after hours work or anything like that. So for being a mobile notary in North Carolina, I don't really see how it would be beneficial to anyone if you cannot have any additional fees associated with the work that you would have to do as far as traveling to people and getting that work done. Loan agents, I don't particularly know why she doesn't endorse them. Of course, they're very present here because they're necessary. They're all over the place. But she said that the Secretary of State does not particularly endorse Notary Public folks becoming loan signing agents. And I think it's just more so because with notary, you're just witnessing the signature. You're just witnessing that the person in front of you is the person that signed the documents. And I think with loan signing agents, you get kind of into, you're not supposed to explain what the documents are, but you have to be very knowledgeable about what they are. So I think it kind of makes the water a little bit muddy in regards to you're just supposed to be witnessing signatures versus all these documents. You're supposed to know what they are and maybe possibly answer any questions that she did state that can get into the legal aspect of it. And for North Carolina, there's different laws for There's a law governing what notaries do, there's laws governing what attorneys do, and there's laws governing what the DMV does in regards to notaries. So they don't necessarily endorse you being a loan signing agent or a mobile notary because of fees, additional fees that can be associated with it. But in order to get started, this is what you need in North Carolina. Just go online, register for the class, pay for it, pay for the book, and then pass the test and turn in your application, and then you can go ahead and get started.